It's month end and you're running short of money. You wish you had some cash with you, but you don't. You got bills to pay, but you're pretty much stuck. What do we do? Sometimes I wish I had this magic app with me where I could just press a few numbers and just like how Swiggy would deliver food, I would get cash in my bank account. That would be nice, right? Wait, it's actually possible. Let me show you how. Hey guys, welcome to another episode. This is Money Karthik here. In this episode, we're going to take a look at instant cash loans. So it's pandemic season and everyone's having trouble. There's economic problems everywhere. People are losing jobs. There's unemployment. All of us at some point of time would be getting into a problematic situation where we all could use more cash, right? If we had more cash, that would be nice. We have bills to pay, right? And whenever you need cash, there are two options. One is, of course, ask your friends and family maybe. But in this case, you can't actually do that because everyone is going through the same situation. So they probably need more money than you. So you can't actually ask them. And the other one is where you approach banks. And when you approach banks, it's a whole story altogether. They ask you for everything from your Aadhaar card, your PAN card, your Kundli, your Janamdin, your school certificate. And the thing is, it's so hilarious. And they basically turn you down in all ways possible. So in this situation, what do you do? Whom do you turn to? What is the other option? What is the solution, right? So this is where instant loans comes into picture. I heard about this concept when I was in the US, when I was working for a company called Loan Now, which was basically into the same kind of concept, but it was in the US. That was fun and I actually worked for this company with their marketing, but this was in 2014 and at that point of time, there was nothing like that in India. But fast forward to 2020, I think in the last 2 or 3 years, many such instant loan companies have actually popped up in India. And these are basically apps wherein you can just log in, give your ID, give your Aadhaar card, your passport, your photo ID, and answer a couple of questions they ask you. Like, for example, what is your source of income? How much is your salary? How much is your EMI? How much are you spending every month? And they look at your profile, they look at your economic profile and basically figure out whether it's possible to give you a loan or not. And if yes, how much? And then they give you directly into your bank account in like 5 minutes. And these are apps I'm talking about. So basically like Swiggy. So instead of food, you're ordering cash. You don't have to pledge them anything. Like, when you go for a student loan or a home loan, you have to actually pledge them like your property, your house or whatever else you have and tell them that if I don't pay the loans, you can come and take my home, right? So in this case, you don't have to do that. You just have to tell them, this is my income source. This is my salary. Here is my bank statement. These are my expenditures every month. These are my EMIs, etc., etc. And they will make an evaluation and say you are eligible for 10,000 rupees or 1 lakh or whatever it is, right? So it depends on what your salary is and whether you're employed or not, or whether you're trustworthy. They call it credit worthiness. Basically, that's an extent to which they will measure as to how trustworthy you are. If they give you money, will they pay you back? That is a measure. That's called credit worthiness. So they evaluate you for that based on the factors and the questions you answer. And based on that is what you get this small personal loan. It's not a big loan. It's a small loan. But it's easy to get. That's the fun part. It's easy to get. Once you fill up the form and give your documents and everything, you can actually get it done in like 5 minutes basically. So that's the thing I'm excited about. But then there are some issues that also we'll be talking about towards the end of this video. But let's look at what are these apps which you can actually get cash on mobile. So the first company we're talking about is called Paysense, right? So I'm basically grading these based on the interest rate. So that's something you need to know, by the way. Interest rate is when you take the money from them, for every rupee that you take from them, there is an interest rate that goes to it. So when you pay it back, so you have to actually pay back this money in installments, right? Just like EMIs. For example, if you take 1 lakh, then every month you have to pay this much back. And this much is based on the interest rate that is calculated. And all of these different companies have different types of interest rates. It ranges from 1.5% to up to 30%. So I'm arranging these companies based on the interest rates they have. So the lowest the interest rate, the better it is, right? So there's this company called Credy, CREDY. The URL should be in the description below. Basically, they have an interest rate of 1.5% and the maximum amount you can take from them is 1 lakh. That's the catch. That's a good company, Credy. The link is in the description. The second one is MoneyView. This app, if you download and answer the questions, upload the KYC documents they ask you, they can deposit the money in your bank account in like 5 to 10 minutes. That's how crazy it is. And their interest rate is only 2%, very low interest rate, good company. And the maximum amount you can take is 5 lakhs. That's pretty good. The third company with the lowest interest rate is called MoneyTap, and it is at 2.03% their interest rate. And when I talk about interest rate, just keep in mind that it's not standard for everyone. It's based on the individual. So what I'm giving here is the average interest rate or the lowest interest rate. Now, if they figure out that you are a risky individual, as in your income is low or your chances of paying back the EMI is less, then they might charge you a little bit more interest rate. So it depends on the person you are. But what I'm saying here is kind of the average or the lowest interest rate. It can be higher for any of these companies. Okay. Fourth company is Paysense. Like I mentioned first, it's at 2.33% and the maximum amount you can take is 5 lakhs. The next company is called NIRA, N-I-R-A. This app will give you money at the interest rate of 2.5% and the maximum amount you can take is 1 lakh. There's another interesting company, it's called Early Salary. I like the name because it's like you're running short of your money and before getting your actual salary, you're getting an early salary, an early advance sort of. And it's at 2.5% and the maximum amount you can take is 2 lakhs. So there's about 20 other instant loan apps, just like the ones I mentioned. And I've listed all of them in my blog article. I've linked to the blog article from the description below. So go check it out if you want to check out all of them and install their apps. Most of them follow the same procedures, which is basically you install the app, you answer a few questions, you upload your social ID, which is your Facebook profile. Sometimes they don't even ask for your social profile, but you upload your KYC documents like your Aadhaar, PAN card, passport, address proof, photo ID, etc. You also have to tell them your income source. So they would prefer you to be a salaried person and not a self or business person. If you're a business person, you have to prove it with your income statement. But if you're salaried, that's even more better for them because that tells them that you have a job and there is regular income coming in every month. The more time you are employed, that is the better because that tells them that you have a stable job. So I think they all look for like 6 months of stable income from salary, and if that's coming, you're like okay. And if you have more time, like if you were working in a company for like 5 years or something, then it's like really good. So basically all these guys follow the same principle. After you give all these documents, they look at your profile and they have their own calculations. Some of these guys even look at the CIBIL score. For those of you who don't know what CIBIL score is, it's basically a score of your financial profile. I do have a blog about that as well, so go check out that link if you want to know more about CIBIL score. But if you don't know, that's okay as well. It basically looks at whether you have paid back your EMIs in the past, whether you're a worthy individual, whether you take the loan and run away and stuff like that. So if you have been paying back your EMIs and everything, you have a high score. If you haven't been paying like credit card EMI or home loans or vehicle loans or anything of that sort, if you have been paying, that's good. If you haven't been paying, it would show up in the credit score or the CIBIL score, and that's not a good thing. So some of these guys look at CIBIL score, some of these don't, but basically what they look for is, okay, this person has this income source, he has these many expenditures, he's making, I don't know, 20,000 or 50,000 per month, and out of that 10,000 or 20,000 he's paying for expenses, another 10,000 goes into EMIs, so he has this much money to spend. So it's okay to give him the money because he's likely to pay you back. If they know that, they will make it so much more faster and give you the money in like 5 to 10 minutes. Some of them even go to like 24 hours or so, but even then it's fast. You get the money really quick. And interestingly, some of these apps even have partnerships with certain companies like Amazon, Flipkart, especially KreditBee. They have a partnership with some of these Amazon like e-com stores wherein you can actually buy products from these e-com stores without paying money, but using their KreditBee e-vouchers, they call it. So it's as good as getting a loan from them and using their money to buy the product. So this is a great concept, the instant loan concept. It's basically just like Swiggy, but instead of food, you're actually ordering cash and it would come not to your home, but your bank account. Now, I told you there are a couple of things that you need to understand and you need to know before taking these loans. And these are not the sexy things. These are like the boring things. Number one is that there is a processing fee for most of these loans, which means that whenever you call them up, make sure that you ask if there is a processing fee or not, because processing fee is just something that's unnecessary. Basically, if you're taking 1 lakh in loans, they will add a processing fee of like 3% of the actual amount. And you have to actually pay for that extra money, which is avoidable in my opinion. Some companies don't have it. Some companies do have it. Some companies, even they have it, they don't tell it outright on their website. I tried calling some of these guys and they're not reachable. So I don't know, maybe if you can get to them, make sure that there is no processing fee. If there is, make sure it's the lowest. The second thing is, if you pay back the EMIs after the period or after the time they ask you to, which means every month they would say you have to pay by the 5th or the 10th, just like regular EMIs. And if you don't pay it by that time, there is a late fee that applies, and it's usually 3% to 4%. Some companies even have it higher. When you sign the agreement, make sure that it's not beyond 2 or 3%, or keep it minimal as much as possible because you want to just avoid any kind of extra money you're paying. The third thing is you have to have a bank account. They don't give cash or loans to people with income income which is in cash, because if it is a bank account, they can track everything. They can see how much money you've been getting every month and so if they want to put the money into your account, they can do it to your bank account and not give you in cash. So most of these guys do need you to have a bank account. And fourth is that the interest rate is always floating. They say something on the website, they say 3%, 4%, but when you actually apply, they say, oh, wait a minute, we found that you are a risky individual, so we have to bump that 4% to 10%. And that's a big change. That's so much more money you're giving them. So make sure that when you're taking a loan from these guys, don't have your interest rate up. Make sure it's the lowest as much as possible. Negotiate, talk to them whatever you can, and get it down as low as possible. And of course, this is a temporary solution. It's not a permanent solution. If you take that money, just try to pay them back as soon as possible. And there's one thing you have to keep in mind there. It's called prepayment charges. As in, let's say for example, you took 1,000 rupees as a loan, and next month you have that extra 1,000 rupees, so you decide to pay it back. When you pay it back, these guys, some of them charge a prepayment fees, which is like a punishment to you, saying that, oh, you were supposed to pay this in like 3 or 4 months, and now you're paying it all together, so we have to charge you an extra percentage. So that's called prepayment. It's a punishment fee sort of. And some guys don't have it. I think the ones that don't have it is Credy, but I'm not sure. I'll just mention that in the description or put it in subtitles to make sure that they don't have early payment fee or prepayment fee. All right, guys, so that's it. Instant loans is a new concept in India. If you have any emergency for getting cash, then use it. I'm pretty sure all of us are going through rough times right now, and all of us could use some cash or money. So if you need any small kind of loans, try one of these apps. These are basically mobile apps that you can install on your phone, answer a bunch of questions, upload your KYCs and get it approved. But see them as traps for sure. Try to avoid them as much as possible, because you have to pay interest back, and I don't advise getting like huge loans like 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs if possible, and then paying back 10 to 30%. Some of these guys are very notorious. If you look at their reviews, you will notice that, I don't want to name them, but some of these companies charge up to 30%. It's mentioned on my blog, but I'm not going to tell the name right here. Up to 30%, which is crazy. That's very high interest rate, and you want to avoid that at any point of time. So make a wise decision. If you have any emergency for cash, use this. It's very simple. You would get the money in like 5 to 10 minutes using your app. No worries at all. If you have everything in place, your salary, your income source, your KYC documents, and all those CIBIL score and everything, if you have it all in place, this is a great option to get that extra money when you need it. All right. So I hope you liked that video. If you did, please let me know. If you have any comments or suggestions, please let me know in the comment section. And if you like the video, please hit the like button and the bell icon, and also subscribe if you haven't yet. This is Karthik signing off.